Our zoo was founded with the intention of providing a safe space for a handful of native animals that were effectively abandoned. They were part of a nature-based documentary that had wrapped up. That project had ended and the animals were left to themselves. And so just the intention of the zoo was always animal focused. Being able to generate a modest amount of income to care for those animals that our founder, Sharon Matola, had basically formed this bond with. Beyond that, as it grew, Sharon saw the potential for it to be a veritable living classroom, a learning space where people could actually come and see these animals in a very impressive imitation of their natural spaces, being cared for and learn about them, to be able to promote the idea of tolerance, empathy, conservation of their species. From the get-go, 40-something years ago, it was built on the pillar of wildlife care and conservation and education. The first, and so far only, recognized zoo in the country. So that really gave us the advantage to be able to build on that and remain true to that philosophy.
My name is Humberto Wallers. I started as a zookeeper in 1991. I'm currently the general curator of the Belize Zoo. My role is to oversee the animal collection. As you know, we have native animals here, and how we get them through, rescues as babies, injured, some confiscation through the government. We do spend some time, those animals that will remain here, those are the animals that we will work with so that they can be able to integrate into the zoo life. Unable to be released, then we work with some behavioral conditioning, and it makes it easier for the zookeepers. This is zookeepers working here to provide that.
I didn't have any background with wildlife before, only dogs, chickens, horses. That was it. But no, it's jaguars, tapirs, deer. So I just came in love with it, and the passion that I have now for wildlife, it's like it has grown in me.
What you have to see when you come here is the passion and caring that all these people that take care of the animals have. They know all their idiosyncrasies, they know their personalities.
I am very keen and I have a very good observation skills, so I like to spend a lot of time observing animals so that I can not only build a bond with them, but also if they're sick or something, I can tell just by their behavior, because it's very important that we care and look after the welfare of the animals that we work with.
Getting suitable staff that would be able to understand our mission.
Then you really appreciate that they understand the role the zoo play in terms of wildlife education and conservation. In terms of nationally, the Belize Zoo is an important tourism product. A lot of people come to Belize to see a jaguar in the wild. The only wild jaguar they might get to see is if they come to the zoo, because as you've seen, our habitats at the zoo represent what wildlife in Belize would be living in the wild. The zoo is a national treasure for Belizeans, some of them seeing the wildlife we have for the first time, or some of them reconnecting with wildlife they used to see in their neighborhood but don't see anymore.
The Mayas had this belief that during the day, the sun was a serpent that traversed the sky. But at sunset, it would be Balam the jaguar swallowing that serpent.
She
Came in 2019 at a fairly young age. We estimate her to be roughly about 5 years old. Now, she had been labeled as a problem jaguar out there because she kept hunting in a community called San Felipe.
Philly was after the livestock there. The owner of the farm called us and said, the jaguar is in the truck and we need to respond right away.
They had threatened to actually kill the jaguar if nothing was done, and she kept constantly doing the same hunting. We think she actually might have had an older parent who taught her to hunt specific prey items, and she kept doing that to survive out there.
We didn't have much information about relocating a jaguar somewhere else, so we decided we're gonna keep it again with the government consent, train her and get her ready for perhaps a breeding program with the species survival plan for jaguars in the US. And Milwaukee was very interested in that. They were interested in Philly.
Being at roughly 9 years of age, is a very good time for her to actually do some breeding. She goes into estrus roughly every 30 days now. You can hear her calling a lot, and even her behavior changes quite a bit. So we've been keeping track of that now. So for right now, she's being calm and everything because she's out of it. So within the next 2 to 3 weeks, she'll go back into the cycle again.
Hopefully that there are some offsprings, and that contributes to the exit to conservation of jaguars. I know some other keepers are attached to her. They probably will be a little bit sad when they see her go, but happy because that was ultimately the goal, to send her to the US. The zookeeper staff are quite happy for that.
But when we think about this predator-prey relationship, jaguar swallowing the serpent. The jaguar balam is simply swallowing that serpent to guide it safely through the levels of the underworld. The next morning, the serpent would be reborn triumphantly to traverse the sky once again.
Buddy is a jaguar, and he's as happy as can be. Oh yeah. 'Cause Junior Buddy is a jaguar. Well, he loves to rock and play. Having fun is a philosophy.
I'm impressed with the zoo's larger mission, what they do for conservation education in Belize. So the 17,000 school children a year that come through, and a big part of their education about conservation issues in Belize takes place when they're at the zoo.
Almost every primary, elementary school child has passed through the gates of the Belize Zoo. So the zoo has some one way or the other impact Belizean kids.
So I was actually part of the zoo's conservation camp. So I was a conservation camp kid, and I started conservation camp when I was 10. Ever since then, it's always been something where I think a lot about conservation, I think a lot about wildlife, and it's definitely played a huge part in the way I've come to doing my education.
I grew up with a family with different mentality, superstitious stuff about animals.
These children, what they've learned in the classroom, they're able to take those messages back home, where they perhaps had those initial negative perspective of animals.
Being part of the zoo, what I love the most is the education department, what the education have done to me to adapt to these animals. And one of the things that have made me go through that is knowledge. Knowledge changed everything.
Learning about jaguars, their perspective changes from, oh, a jaguar is bad, he's gonna eat me, So wow, this is a gorgeous, beautiful, and handsome Jaguar. He deserves to be protected as well.
The mission of the Belize Zoo is to protect and also educate Belizean society and also our foreigners who come to visit. The great thing is that this family and these children, they are so much into wildlife and into nature. So that's very nice because then they will learn how to take care of our wildlife, our nature. And now, as you know, we are having a problem with climate change.
What are some of the biggest challenges the zoo faces right now?
The pressing one, and unfortunately now the entire country of Belize, I think, has recognized it as of last year, is fire. And obviously how that's very much linked to climate change. This past year, we had fire at an unprecedented level that threatened literally the entire country. We had wildfires raging in habitats and forests and properties that have never been seen at that scale. So a lot of people were completely unprepared. It's harder to manage these fires in a safe and sustainable way. So being able to do that for ourselves as well as provide support, guidance, training to practitioners in our area that will still need to continue to use fires. It's not a reality where they can stop using it as a tool for many purposes, but being able to ensure that we're all using it responsibly in the years to come as it becomes more challenging. Much like any other nonprofit or organization like ours that does this kind of work, funding is always a challenge. And so our tours, people staying at the TEC, admission fees, those are all great at keeping the day-to-day operations. Anything beyond that, any capital project like a new habitat or a new outreach program, training program, a fire management program, those require external funding. They require private donations, foundations, and grant writing.
I came here the first time maybe in 2012 and toured the front of the zoo, which was lovely. Then I got a tour of the back of the zoo, and they were doing surgery on a door. There was no walls. It was a tin roof. They had to bring water in via wheelbarrows, and being a nurse, just even taking care of anybody, animals or humans in that way, isn't right. So our first project was to build a new clinic surgery suite. And that's kind of how my connection here started.
Belize is still developing its human capital. So we don't have a native wildlife veterinarian. Over the last 10 years, we've relied a lot on universities by bringing veterinary students to Belize along with their professors to do annual checkups. That is something that the zoo would normally not be able to afford, and so we bridge that financial deficit of providing year-round veterinary care.
It benefits the animal, it benefits us as well because we are learning from them and the students that they bring as well. This is the first time they have held a jaguar or got blood from a monkey.
What's great about teaching the students is they always ask you questions, always challenge you and push you to learn more about the cases, the medication.
So for them, this is a learning experience that they will hopefully use it in their career.
You guys want to go and see how he looks?
What I didn't expect is how nice it was to work really closely with the zookeepers who know each and every animal super well. So it was nice to see how veterinarians and zookeepers collaborate in that aspect to make sure that the animals get the best treatment that they can.
This is Victoria. Hi.
This experience is unique because the Belize Zoo is so open to teaching. The staff, the keeper staff, the curator staff are just incredibly talented and they care so much for their animals.
Lindo.
Lindo is here with us since 2008, and he's here because he was sort of problematic Jaguar. You know, when Jaguars have a health issue, Jaguars always go for the easy stuff, that's dogs or chickens, so they get into a lot of trouble with people. So Lindo was captured and he's here with us. Lindo is a very great cat. He loves to interact with persons. He's very easy to train, but old age is catching up on Lindo, and thanks to the vets that we have here now looking at our animals, we hope Lindo stays longer with us.
How you feel, Mr. Burks?
I'm feeling positive. I feel like
You think you're
it's
ready?
okay. Yes.
Okay.
This one was. This one was supported.
Stiffer than we thought, like you can feel he's pretty much wasted. It looks like there's a little bit of progression of his kidney disease.
A lot of the therapy is just controlling symptoms, slowing disease progression, but there's unfortunately no like definitive cure.
I'm very proud to say that we have a good set of veterinarian students and vets here. We want the utmost welfare for him. Doing these checks really they give us an idea what is the next step for him.
Yes, Neo's honestly always moving about.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's his nap time, then that's
Then he
different.
does. Me too.
Yeah,
I'm with
it's
you,
like,
Neo.
unless it's nap time, Neo does not respond.
So Neo is our neotropical river otter. He is 3 years old now, and he was actually an orphan that was found by a very kind family down in the Sand Creek district, so that's in southern Belize. They were near the city river, and they saw this tiny little orphan otter and scooped him up and then called the zoo to ask for help. Most mammals, when they're that age, they're very vulnerable. They spend a lot of time with mom. So our keepers had to stand in and basically be Neo's mom. They would bottle feed him with a milk replacement formula every few hours and bonded with him very strongly. And so he's grown up at the zoo.
He's like fun, playful, and sleeps a lot.
So, oh, he's awake. He is very charismatic and he puts on a show.
Neo.
Hi there. The one I go to visit every time I walk in the zoo is Neo the otter. And he comes right on over, starts talking to me, and then starts showing off. You know, swimming and diving and rolling, and there is something just appealing to that and just kind of starts my day off in the right way.
He's been very affectionate, very heavily social. He loves being around people. The reason he can't be put back into the wild is simply because of that reason. They're very intelligent, so they figure out immediately that humans are their caregivers. He would always associate with people, even if you were put back into the wild. And so if it wasn't trying to find his way back to the zoo, he'd try to find similar people, a settlement or a town or a village near the river he would be released, which is not great because you want wildlife to remain wild if they're going to be in the wild. Or if they can't, then they have to be in a controlled, safe setting. So we provided him a nice big space where he can interact with people on a daily basis.
Neo is very social, and to me it kind of epitomizes the welcoming spirit of being here.
what would you say about the Belize Zoo staff and the zookeepers here that you worked with?
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
They're like family. They welcomed us with open arms, and we're sad to go.
We here at the TC, everyone works as a team. We have a team spirit.
Definitely it is a teamwork. You have to be a team player. Otherwise, the weight of the work every day, we have to balance it.
I've always want not only myself to do great, but also the other people that work with me. I always look out for them.
The amount of pull togetherness from the people that work here to make this happen. It has been, without a doubt, the most extraordinary time in my life.
It's the animals, but there's so much more that happens here to be able to provide that experience for every single guest that comes through our gates. And I think a lot of our staff understand that they are a part of that, even if they're not a zookeeper or they're not working with the animals directly, they play a part in providing that experience for Belizeans and international visitors to the country.
Everybody loves animals. That's the easy part. What makes me keep coming back are the people. They're extraordinary. They give everything they have to these animals here.
It's inspiring, and that's what we love. This is me. This is what I have been doing all my entire 34 years.
What everyone's true north is, or their guiding principle for being here, is that they enjoy being near these animals, near their animals.
We came to the zoo, we started working at the zoo, and we've learned the value of these wildlife.
My zoo colleague Celso is doing cutting-edge research about our national animal. The more we know about an animal, the better we are off to craft a very effective conservation strategy to ensure its future in the wild. Thank you, Celso.
As the executive director, you took over for Sharon.
And I'm stepping back because we now have a cadre of wonderful Belizeans dedicated to imparting the important messages of natural resources conservation to our people.
The zoo has a very strong legacy, very beautiful past. What is your vision for taking the zoo forward?
My goal and my vision, the Belize Zoo sits in the center of the Maya Forest corridor. We have this 90,000 acres mosaic landscape that is important and critical for safeguarding for the movement of wildlife between the northern and the southern forests of Belize.
This is a beautiful piece of nature's real estate.
The zoo plays a critical role in conserving this habitat, and I see that moving from an on-site sort of ex situ conservation to more in situ, in the field conservation is where I see the zoo moving. So more managing landscape, more managing wildlife in the wild. I personally feel that we are well placed to do this.
Secure this land forever for our country.
We really mean it when we say we're committed to keeping animals in wild places. So having these spaces basically helps us put our money where our mouth is, in that we can have, functional habitats where we have the option of putting animals back out into the wild if they have a chance of surviving. So that's another reason we're committed to making sure these spaces stay intact.
Not every animal that comes here will remain here. Some are really lucky to go back into the wild. Since I joined the zoo, we have had many successes in terms of releases. We have sent back jaguar storks, we have sent tapirs out, we have sent howler monkeys, a whole number of animals, and including jaguars now. For me, it's quite rewarding to see them back again. For my jaguars that I have released, I have seen them stepping out and then looking back at you and saying goodbye and thank you.
Our values have not changed from the first time Sharon took some paint on an old board and made the sign that said the Belize Zoo.
This avenue to reconnect with nature, to reconnect with wildlife.
I don't believe in magic except when I'm here in Belize, and especially at the zoo.